right, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our redeemer, and it's in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, protect tonight's message. Amen. Amen. Welcome back, everybody. We give all praise and honor once again to the Most High Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life disabled to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. And we're thankful and grateful for everybody being on with us today. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We appreciate you. We're thankful. And we're going to talk a little bit about sports today. Try to make something make a little sense through some sports. I probably will have to explain some for you, but nevertheless, we're excited and grateful to be in front of you again. And hopefully you guys have been having a great day. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Welcome to you. And we're thankful. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for our live session at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, as well as the Shabbat Shalom podcast, which Minister Anais will be taking over for this month. So we're thankful and grateful. And just going to have a little bit of conversation, a little bit of study, and we're going to use a very, what's the word we're looking for? A very well used or very well known sport in the sport of NFL football to discuss some stuff in life. And we will come from the position of a quarterback. And as always, it's Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Thank you to everybody being on both YouTube and TikTok, whether you're joining us live or joining us later on. How you doing, Sister Beverly? How you doing, Minister Sonia? How you doing, Brother Clem? How you doing, Sister Carrie, Brother Anthony, Shiraz, Lottie Dottie, and everybody? Thanks for being on with us today. And we want to talk about stuff from the perspective of the quarterback. Interesting thing about the quarterback in the NFL, the quarterback is the most, some people would say, has to be considered to be the most important position. It's definitely the most paid, or the highest paid position. Definitely probably the most recognizable position. If you might not know who your running back is, you might not know who your lineman is, you might not know who your defensive back is, but you do know who the quarterback is. And how you doing, Guidance? Thanks for being on. But in order to play quarterback, you have to be aware of quite a few different things. And really, when we talk about being a quarterback, we want to talk about the pre-snap read, right? You want to even talk about what's called the pre-snap read. So for those who might not be aware, when you snap the football, that's when they say hut or hike. Most of us are aware of that. And the center gives the ball to the quarterback and the play starts, right? However, before the play starts, there's already stuff going on. And we would call it the pre-snap, right? Things that happen pre-snap. And before we even get to the pre-snap read, there's stuff like the huddle. There's plays that are being discussed, or maybe signals being given from the sideline, all types of things that are going on, right? And so we want to discuss this tonight and talk about how you can quarterback through life, so to speak. And prayerfully, my prayer is that this will make sense to us. I know not everybody's up on sports the way that everybody else is, but prayerfully we'll come out of this with a very great comprehension of some things and how we can look at some things in life. So when the quarterback is getting ready to say hike, say hut, clap his hands, do a silent count, whatever the case might be, the quarterback has already gone through knowing what the play is, knowing what plays have worked. He has researched for sometimes a week, 2 weeks, sometimes weeks, has looked at what people like to do, their tendencies, has had to learn language of plays, many different things, that has to be able to look out throughout his own offense and throughout the defense that's being presented to him, and has to be able to make a decision on what the play is. Does he need to call the audible? The audible is basically saying, do we need to change the play up at the how you doing, Sister Deborah? Do we need to change the play up? Do we need to change what the mindset is? Do we need to make sure that the players are realigned? Do I need to just scratch the play, call a timeout because we're going to get got? Um, you know, do I need to make it look different? Do I need to have somebody go in motion? That means somebody run back and forth, all these different things, right? All these things are happening before the ball is hiked, right? Before hike is said, before the play is started, before things begin to move and go in a certain direction, um, things are already being read, right? There's a pre-snap read. Before movement starts, before the play starts, there's a pre-snap read, right? And so we're looking at the pre-snap read. We're looking at what it is that the quarterback has to be able to go through, what he's looking at, and his challenges, etc. And so in life, we should also have what we'll call tonight a pre-snap read. Before we move, what is being presented? Before we move, what is it that needs to be put in place? Before we move, what is the defense? What is the world? What is the job? What is the enemy? What is the friends? What does society have against you, right? What are the things that make it difficult for you to move? Have you already came into a pre-snap read? Do you make it a habit? Remember, for this month, we're trying to make it a habit of making sure we appreciate self. And as we get ready to go, are we looking at everything around us and saying, what's the pre-snap read? So first things first, have you studied? Have you studied? Have you studied? Have you studied your opponent? Have you studied yourself? Have you studied your tendencies? Have you studied the language that needs to be spoken? One of the things that the quarterback has to make sure is that he is aware of every single word that comes out of his mouth. What is it? Right? For example, how you doing, Sister Sabrina? For example, if he says, like, he might say something like 50 or 50. If you hear 50, that's a way of saying you have 5 offensive linemen in front of you, right? And those 5 offensive linemen know, okay, that means that he wants us to block. The quarterback is telling the offensive linemen in front of him who are going to make sure that they keep the defense from getting to him, or at least the defensive line. He's saying that there are 5 people lined up. And so don't worry about anything else. 0, that's where the O comes from. And he's saying, I want you to focus on 5 people in front of you, 5-0, right? That also means, therefore, the running back, who's probably in the back with him, because he probably won't say that unless there's a running back. So if there's a running back in the back with him, the running back knows if anybody besides those 5 people come, it is my responsibility now to ensure that they don't get to my quarterback. Now I become a 6th offensive lineman, so to speak, right? But you can say 5-0. Some people say 50. Some people say cent, because 50 could be 50 cent. Some people could say Hawaii, because you have Hawaii 5-0, right? So he has to figure out what is it that his team, he has to remember what his team is for that week, what they've decided the language for that play is going to be, what he's gone and told everybody, what all the coaches have told everybody, that everybody would be on the same level for protection, right? And he's looking at what's coming at him, right? He has to know, am I in something, you guys might not know what this is, but am I in man, or what we would call man to man, but man coverage? That means that nobody's going to stay in a particular place waiting to be on that side of the field and take care of that side of the field. Everybody has a man on the offense that they're going to be looking to go against, right? So now I know that, okay, there are certain things I can do. What if I can't tell if we're in man coverage? Well, I can send somebody in motion. And all this stuff, I'm going to try to make this stuff make sense, but just hang in there for a second if you're not aware of what I'm saying, right? So that means that I can send somebody in motion. Motion is me telling somebody on offense with me, maybe a tight end, maybe a running back, maybe a wide receiver, to go and move. When that person moves, I'm looking to see what the defense does. If the cornerback says, okay, I'm going to move with the cornerback being the person that's trying to stop the wide receiver from catching the ball. If they move with the wide receiver, for example, then it means, okay, we're at least a few people are in man, but probably more than likely we're dealing with mostly man coverage. So now I know how to attack the defense, because I would attack it differently in man coverage than if everybody's in zone. I need to be able to say, I need to be able to see, is there a mismatch? Is there a part of the field that's going to be open? And do I have a mismatch to where maybe I have somebody that's really fast that if they can get a real quick move and take off, it's probably going to be pretty easy for them to catch the ball and get a lot of yards, if not even that, possibly get a touchdown. I'm looking at all these different things before the ball is snapped. If there's too many people that seem to have what it is that we need to do, as far as like maybe they're in something called dime coverage. That means that there's 10 people who are not a linebacker, or maybe there is something called nickel, which means that they'll have an extra cornerback and they'll take away a linebacker. That means that they're actually going to be ready to cover us and they have more speed and agility. So I might have to make sure I say, okay, maybe we'll do an audible where we run the ball, right? Or maybe we do an audible where we fake the run. I fake like I'm gonna hand it off, and I have to read all these things before I say hike, before I say hut, or whatever it is that we say to be able to make sure everybody goes. I have to make sure that everybody on offense knows, are we going on 1, 2, or 3? If we're going on 1, that means when I say hut, everybody moves. If I say we're going on 2, that means hut hut. On second hut, everybody moves. If I say we're going on 3, I could say hut hut hut. I could say I'm gonna delay the third hut, so I could say hut hut hut, and they need to know, right? Whenever I say that last one and delay, that they need to be ready to go. The defense also simultaneously is studying me as much as I should be studying them. And it becomes all that stuff is happening before the ball is even snapped. Now, why am I talking about the pre-snap read, and how can we liken this to what we're doing? There are so many things that we're not aware of and so many things we don't have planned out. And this month being the month we're supposed to be trying to plan out by the end of this month, to make sure that we are in a place where we recognize our value, recognize what we have to give, recognize who we are, recognize what we bring to the table. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? All these things. If we're going to get to that place as a community, then we have to start planning. If we're going to get to that place as individuals, you've got to start planning and having a pre-snap read. Once again, it starts with the quarterback. It starts with you doing film, looking at stuff, reading your books, looking at tendencies of what you're going to do. If you're going to invest, do you know what the tendency is of when things are going to rise and when things are going to stay low? Do you know that now more than ever you should get into cryptocurrency, because this is about the lowest it's been for years now, which means that that it's about as low as it's going to get. So you might want to make sure that you're ready for the investment when it moves up, when it goes up. How you doing, Sister Tracy? Right? Are you aware that if you're going to invest in something, are you reading what's going on? If you're going to invest in Disney, are you reading what's going on with Disney? Are you reading, if you're going to invest in Netflix, maybe it's not the time, or maybe you trust in Netflix, you do some research, you feel that Netflix is going to rise up. So get in your, before you even do it, before you get into up to the line, have you gotten into a place where you studied? That happens before the game even starts. Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. Before the game even starts, before your movement even starts, before your business even starts, before your culture, before your learning more culture even starts, you've got to get into a place of where you've been studying to show yourself approved, right? The quarterback, everybody talks about the quarterback gets paid because they can throw. Everybody talks about the quarterback gets paid because they might be able to run. Everybody gets talked. Some people think the quarterback gets paid just because he's able to go ahead and make sure he can manage certain things. The quarterback gets paid for many different things, including their study habits. When they draft quarterbacks, they see how they do in study. They see what their intelligence level is. They see, can you remember a play? Can we write out X's and O's on the board? And can you be able to tell me what's going on? Right? If I'm drafting somebody, I need to know if I write out X's and O's. Right? If I write out these X's and O's, can you look at this? Right? I'm going to use X's for linemen. I'm going to use, well, I don't know. We'll do X's for linemen. I'm gonna do triangles for the linebacker. Some of you guys who played football before, maybe you would catch some of this stuff. I'm gonna use O's or circles for defense. Right? I need to be able to put this on a board. This is bare minimum stuff, by the way. This is stuff that we should have junior high, high school. This stuff should be easy for you to see, right? But I should be able to write this out, and you, as a quarterback, should be able to tell me this is 4-3. What does 4-3 mean? 4-3. I got 4 linemen. I got 4 defensive backs. I got 3 linebackers. That means there's certain things that we probably wouldn't run against this, and there's certain things we would run against this, just because I see it. Right? I need to know that fast. Right? And those are basics. Right? I need to know, what if I erase 2 of these triangles and I make these 2 O's, right? And some of you might not know what I'm saying, but just hang in there, right? I put 2 more O's up. When I put these other 2 O's up, guess what? I need you to know. I need to know, do you know that now this is dime? because now we've got 6 defensive backs, which means that they're more agile, and I've got 4 defensive linemen. I've only got 1 linebacker, so 4 plus 6 is 10. They call it dime, and then I've got 1 linebacker. Right, the linebacker probably is going to be staying somewhere in the center. If the linebacker has to go man to man, we got a mismatch. I need to be able to know that just because I've seen what's happening before the play is even going to start. Right, I need to know. I need you to be able to say that right off the jump. Right, I need to know right off the jump. Right, I need to know if I need to know if you see this right here. Right, if you see this right here, I need you to be able to tell that this is 3-4. What is 3-4? I've got 3 defensive linemen, 4 um 4 middle line or 4 linebackers, excuse me. Now that I have 4 linebackers, what that means is 2 of these linebackers can act like an extra defensive lineman. So I've got to be ready. Anything that I put up, right? These are things that I have to study. Now, obviously, I'm not somebody who's playing football every day and doing stuff like that. I'm not even doing Madden or anything like that anymore. But you'd be surprised how many of your children, when they're playing Madden, they have to know all those things, especially when they start going higher levels. When you go to the highest levels, you can't play against people if you can't tell. Oh, that's 4-3, that's 3-4, that's nickel, that's dime, that's goal line, that's prevent, right? Prevent literally meaning that everybody who's on the field is going to move is going to do their best to stay back because they know you're running out of time, and so they don't care if you get a little bit of yards in front of them as long as you don't go all the way down on them. So they'll go 10 yards off you, 15, 20 yards off you to ensure that you can't go for the big one. They don't care if you get a little bit, they also want you to go for the big one. All these things are the same thing when we're quarterbacking in life. When we're going through these phases, when we're quarterbacking, the question becomes, have you taken time out to study to where before you get drafted, before you become part of an organization, before you start the business, before you say that you're going to know more about a certain situation or anything, you have to know all of those things. You have to know what's going on. You have to know what it's going to take, right? Quarterbacks have to lift weights just like everybody else. They might not be trying to get the same body that everybody else is because they have to be more limber. They have to be more flexible. They have to be able to be more quick with their feet. But they have to lift weights. They have to run like everybody else. They have to do foot exercises because you got to know: am I getting the ball? Is it a 1, 2, 3 drop? Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop? Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drop? They have to work on their technique, right? A lot of people just think, oh, somebody just throws a football, but that's a terrible throw, right? You have to be throwing it. You're coming from here. Usually, this is kind of like the most textbook one. You're going back. You've got your arms out. You're taking it. You're making sure that the laces are right on your fingertips. You're going on a motion where you're going to follow through. And as you follow through, I'm doing it real slow, so it's kind of messed up, but you follow through. And it's almost like you're spinning it at the same time because you want to, not almost, you're spinning it at the same time. All those things have to be studied before somebody even gets to the game. Then once you get to the game, you got to prepare, right? And before and after the game, guess who's going to get talked to at every press conference? So you want to take the lead, you want to lead the environment, you want to start the business, you want to grow. Well, guess who gets talked to the most? Guess who's going to be blamed the most? Guess who's going to have to talk to the media and make sure that they answer questions? And guess who has to keep some things to the vest? Guess who can't blame anybody else? Guess who has to take none of the credit when you guys win and let the media give you the credit? And guess who has to take all the credit when you guys lose and allow the media to keep up for you if necessary? It's the quarterback, right? All those things go into quarterbacking. This is before we even gotten on the field. Now that you've gotten on the field, now you've got to get to a place of realizing, where are we? Are we at the 20-yard line on our side? Are we at the 20-yard line on their side? 2 different types of play calling, 2 types of different ways that I need to be careful with the football. Are we going for a field goal if we don't make this? Should I keep it safe and just throw it out of the end zone, and that way we still can go for a field goal? Or is it the end of the game? We only got 2 more downs left. I need to go ahead and try and risk it to be able to make sure that we can win this game. Right? So even the possession, right? Whatever possession that you have, whatever the play is, whatever that time in the story of mankind or your story going through right now, you have to be aware of situations. They call it situational awareness. Are you aware of what situation you're in? Are you aware of if your situation needs you to do that? Some people are trying to throw for a touchdown every play. Some of you are trying to make sure that you win every argument. Some of you are trying to make sure that you knock everything. I know that's baseball, so I was about to say knock everything out the park. Some of you guys are trying to make sure that everybody appreciates every single thing you do. Some of you are trying to make sure that everybody knows about everything that's going on. Some of you are doing stuff, and there's battles to pick. Right? As long you have 4 downs, technically three, because on the 4th down, if you're not close enough, you're not going to go for it, right? As often as you do, on the other downs. So you have 3 downs to be able to get 10 yards. If you do something on the first play and it only gets you 5 yards, that's a whole lot. You got halfway there on the 1st down. You still got 2 more. If you get 3 more yards on the second one and 3 more yards on the 3rd down, guess what? You got 11 yards. You got a 1st down. You have a whole new set of downs to be able to come up with 3 to 4 more plays, right? So every set of down, this is what we were talking about earlier, or we've been talking about this whole week. Whatever your goal is by the end of July to hit, by the end of the month, right? Don't worry about, oh, I'm going to go for a home run. I'm going to hit that mark starting tomorrow. No, we're going through a process. The goal is to score a touchdown. At the end of the month, the goal is to score a touchdown. Guess what? Make that your goal. Whatever your goal, whatever you put up there, whatever your affirmations are, you're trying to score a touchdown. That means the first week, you don't have to hit it out the park. Just 5 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, right? The next week, it might feel bad because, wait a minute, I lost yardage on the first couple of days, on the first play or 1st down. Ooh, but guess what? You still got the rest of the week. Okay, we'll throw it in there. We got 8 yards now. Guess what? We might have 4 more yards left to go. So it's still manageable on 3rd down. We can still run it. We can still pass it. We still have a whole bunch of plays that are open to us, right? Like, don't rush this thing thinking that you got to score a touchdown. There's time, right? You need to score a touchdown, and you need to score that touchdown by July. You have plenty of time to be able to score that touchdown. You have plenty of time to reach that goal. You have plenty of time to be able to do what it is that's necessary, right? While you're quarterbacking through this thing, don't believe that you got to rush this thing too much. And now that we've gotten through that, now here's something else that happens. It's right, something else that we have to do. It's called the huddle. It's called a huddle. Quarterback usually go like this, right? He's saying huddle together. What happens in the huddle? He gets a play. He gets a play from the coach. He gets a play from the offensive coordinator. He gets a play from the sideline. Maybe he gets it from the 2nd or 3rd string quarterback. But somebody relays the play to him that they've talked about and that somebody's been coaching on, right? And somebody's been working on, agreeing on throughout the week for this particular game, this particular situation you're in. People have been studying all week and telling you all week, this is what we're going to do out of plans, right? So in the middle of the game, the quarterback is simply waiting for somebody to tell them what they've all agreed on in the first place, right? And so you have people that are off the field. Where are you during this time? Where are your coaches? Where's the Most High in your life? Where are the people and the things and the habits that you have in place that you've been studying and working on, that when you get to your situations, you've already practiced these things? They have something in football called a 2-minute drill. If you run a 2-minute drill, what that means is you practice during the week. You practice during the week what you're going to do during the last 2 minutes. If you're coming up and you've got to get a field goal or you got to get a touchdown, you have practiced what you're going to call in the last 2 minutes to be able to get you all the way down the field. You practice if you have timeouts, what you would do. You practice if you don't have timeouts, you need to go and try to get out of bounds as much as you can. You practice if you need to spike the ball. Spike the ball. You can literally stop the clock by saying hike, clocking the ball. You practice everybody run up to the line, because you can't just snap the ball with no read. You have to make sure everybody runs up to the line. You have practiced everything. You said, I'm the coach. Amen. I mean, if that's what we're doing, right? But I'm just saying, whoever you're looking to, right? But the goal is to say we practice this, right? And if we're going to say I'm the coach, I appreciate that, right? And I believe that you can look at me as such. Well, guess what? We have hours upon hours upon hours, even with them taking down the YouTube channels and the TikTok channels and the Facebook channels and all these different channels that they've taken down. We still have hours and hours and hours and hours. And we have other people that are up there. We have Minister Anais giving you stuff. We have Minister Tamara giving you stuff. We have Minister Sonia giving you stuff. We have Minister Kevin giving you stuff. We have obviously, my wife and I, when I say myself, my wife and I, we're one. So anything I'm giving you, she's giving you. Anything she's giving you, I'm giving you. We have all these things that are there as a community during this month, this specific thing where we're trying to work and grind and do these things. We have all these hours we put in. We got all this tape you can go over. You say, oh man, I can't remember that one thing you were talking about. You can look it up. You can look it up by name. You can look it up by playlist. You've got text numbers to text. You've got emails that you can make. You've got different places you can go. Anything that's there, anything that we're doing somewhere along the line, even if it's just hearing it said. If you look in the description box of these videos, especially if they're on YouTube. If you go on TikTok and look where it says website, click on that where it says link tree, and then click on the link tree link and go different places. If you're in classes, if you need recordings, we have all these things that you can go to at any time during this time frame that we have this goal, right? And it's time for you to quarterback. So you get in the huddle and they give you the play. And now those that are working with you, family, those that are rolling with you, family, friends, servants, people who show love one to another, people who call each other, all these different things that we have. How you doing, Blue? Those who are with us, they're in the huddle, and now it's time for us to say, okay, this is what we're going to call. We're going to call the play, right? We're going to call the protection. We're going to call the play. We're going to call the protection. We're going to call the play. We might even call the formation or whatever. But we're going to call the protection. We're going to call the play. And it has to be clear conversation. Now, here's some stuff that you got to make sure that you know. Because once again, in doing the pre-snap read, you've also got certain things going on. So let's say on the offensive side, right? We got all these things going on. Give me a second. I'm making a very crude thing for us today, but I want us to be able to see it a little bit. Putting the defense on there, putting the offense in there. Okay, so let's make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. I actually messed this up a little bit, but hopefully you guys, well, I don't even know if people are, it depends on how much you're into football, I guess, how much you'll see what I messed up as far as the players or not, right? But so we have all these things going on, right? Now in all this, so we've called the play, we called the formation. And on this play, let's make it real simple. Let's make this real simple. We're going to do something like this. We're going to have 2 people run the post. We have 2 of our receivers that are going to run a post. We're going to have 1 receiver that's going to make a hook. We're going to have the tight end who's going to run and then come inside. Okay. Now a lot of this might not make any sense to any of you. That's fine. I just want you to catch a little bit of this. All right. Just listen to me. I'll try to make it as sensible as I can. We've got the defense on here. We made this time the defense is the triangles. So the defense are just our triangles. Okay. So the defense, and this is 4-3, if you guys remember, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs. We have 5 offensive linemen. Those are going to be the people that protect. And the offensive linemen are crucial, right? We got the quarterback. That's our circle. So we know what the quarterback is. We have 1 running back. That means we have a single back formation. We have 3 wide receivers, all right? So we have 1, 2, 3. We got a tight end here. 2 of the wide receivers are going to do what's called a post. They're going to go up and go. One's going inside. One's going up, going outside. One's going to do a hook here on the outside, and then we're trying to make space for the tight end to be able to come up and go inside. All right? That's what we're trying to do here. We have a mismatch already, right? But while we're doing the huddle, we're explaining everything. Now it's pre-snap read time. Now it's time to read. So I'm looking to see where everybody's set up. I'm looking to see if maybe one of these linebackers is deciding that they want to run in to try and get me as a quarterback. We already have this running back who doesn't have, if you notice, they don't have a route. They have this right here. This is indicating they're going to block somebody. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people to protect me. There's only 4 people that are coming at me for sure. Now I'm looking for signs. So if the linebacker comes, puts his hand in the dirt, just like everybody else has theirs, that could be an indication to me that they're going to try and run in, right? So I will indicate to the people that are going to protect me what's going on, the chains of protection. Or I might say to the running back, hey, don't look at protecting me on this side. I want you to protect me on this side. Now, here's crucial part of all the stuff that's going on. Here's something that you must comprehend that you got to get if you don't get anything else. Everybody has a job to do, just like all these defensive people that we talked about very shortly and briefly. Everybody on the offensive side has a job to do. They have a work to do. They have a lane to stay inside of. Right? Everybody has to stay in their lane, or else we're not going to be able to make this play work. Okay? Everybody has to stay in their lane. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen that are next to each other. Right? Their whole goal is to make sure that these 4 and any of these people who might try to come in at me cannot get to me. And these now watch this. They play a different position. So because they play a different position, they have to prepare differently, right? They're ready to help the quarterback, but they have to realize that they are not the quarterback. So that means that they do something different. So all 5 of them will have a position where the hand is down, right? And they have to pause and they have to freeze, or the outside, the people on the outside, they'll actually be like this, and they'll be waiting to see what happens because they're supposed to make sure nobody gets in the outside. They give me what's called a pocket. If I'm the quarterback, they give me what's called a pocket. When I go back and I'm in the pocket, that means that they are supposed to make sure that I have nobody coming at me. Nobody's close to my legs. Nobody's close enough to block the ball. Nobody's close enough to put their hands on me. That I would have. And as a quarterback, you got to be so sharp to see what's going on, because really, a great quarterback should be able to get the ball out, no more than like 2 to 3 seconds. Right? A clean pocket. Exactly. You want a clean pocket. A clean pocket. So these 5 who are going to take this position, they train different. Sometimes they're like 300 pounds, 300, 320, 350 pounds. Now get this, some of them being 325 can still run a 40 and like 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. If you don't know what that means they're incredibly fast, right? They can sprint. They can't go as fast or they can't maybe not sprint as long as you can, even though some of them can. They might not be able to have the athletics as far as everything you can do as far as juking and stuff like that, but they can make sure that they're here, get up fast. If it's passing, right, which that's a passing play, if it's passing, they've been trained to be able to get their hands up and they're going to move back. So when I say hike, they're going to move back and be ready to push anybody away and give me a clean pocket. If it's a running play, they're actually going to, when I say hike, they're going to push forward and get ready to push people off of me, right? They're actually going to push forward and push people, or not off of me, but off of the running back to give me time and clear a space, whichever lane the running back needs to go to go there, right? So these offensive linemen, they're not worried about. Matter of fact, it's illegal for them until the ball is thrown or the running back gets past them. They're not running. They're not even supposed to go too far past the offensive line. Their whole goal is be effective in my area. If they are, it gives the person, let's say the main person I'm trying to get the ball to, once again, is this tight end. It gives them enough time to hit their marks. It gives these guys enough time to be secondary targets, but also to be a decoy. Because if this person can outrun, if this wide receiver right here, this X, can get around this defensive lineman, this triangle, then this second triangle right here, he can't stop. He can't just stay up there. He can't just stay looking for this tight end. He's got to actually say, oh, okay, let me go up here and make sure that I protect this triangle right here. So everybody's trying their best, even if the ball's not coming at them. Some people, they're just a decoy on that play, but they're all part of the same thing. They all have the same mission. They all have their same place. The running back is not doing anything except protection on this play. So he's not even worried about give me the ball. Even though he's a running back, he's a halfback on this play. His whole goal is I'm blocking, right? I'm not worried about running. I'm not worried about touchdown on this. I'm worried about making sure nobody gets to this quarterback. If for some reason somebody gets past these first five guys as far as protection, because sometimes you have some really great defensive linemen or some really great schemes that will trick you into who's coming to get you, and these linebackers or not. Guess what? The running back says, no problem. I'll go for him. Right. And he's been trained not only to carry the football, that running back has been trained to block. Everybody has a certain position, but guess what? Guess who has to know all those things and has to read all the stuff before it happens? It has to be the quarterback. That's why the quarterback gets all the glory, and that's why the quarterback gets all the blame. And I'm here to tell you that you're going to have to start getting your pre-snap game up, because at the end of the day, when stuff doesn't happen, they ain't coming looking for the people that are going to be working for you. They ain't coming for your wife and your children, husbands. They're coming looking for you. When your bills don't get paid, I know it might not be fair. You might be the stay-at-home dad. Guess who they still going to be looking at? Or they're going to be looking at you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You want to get the quarterback credit? Then you better be ready to take on the quarterback stuff. Can you do that pre-snap read? Have you started making sure that your vision is on point? Ladies, I know you don't like it, but guess what? Even if your husband is the chef, even if your husband is the one that's staying at home or whatever, guess what? When them babies go to school, and y'all know, mothers, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Amen. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Mothers, y'all know this is the deal. Like daddy can be helping out just as much as mom, and it's just as much his children as it is yours. But let them babies come to school and their hair is messed up and their uniform don't look right and their shoes looking raggedy and all these things. They're not going to say, why is his dad not making sure that he's taken care of? They're going to say, what's going on, mama? We all have our lane. I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that that's the right way to think. I'm trying to tell you that's why when somebody's in their position, if you're going to quarterback this thing, whatever your position is, when you play quarterback, they're looking for you to be on point. It starts with studying. It starts with you being able to make sure that you can speak at the press conference. It starts with you making sure that you have watched film. It starts with you ensuring that you practice. Matter of fact, quarterbacks before the season start, they'll usually pay for their wide receivers to go somewhere. They pay their plane tickets, they pay for their food, they pay for everything, and they go somewhere on the quarterback's dime a lot of times, because the quarterback wants to make sure that, hey, you guys are going to be taken care of. We're going to be together. We're going to get this food together. We're going to eat the same things. We're going to talk the same language. We're going to sleep in the same hotel rooms. We're going to swim together. We're going to go to amusement parks together, whatever it is. We're going to do everything together so that we have a camaraderie. So when we get to the season, what everybody thinks is something that they're like, oh, that's just great chemistry. We developed this chemistry. We took time out to be able to make sure that we developed this chemistry. We took time out to ensure that we were doing what we were supposed to do. We took time out to already have relationship. So when I look at you, see, people don't even think about this. If you go to the Super Bowl, those who watched it, and I didn't watch it live, I don't really watch the Super. I don't really support the NFL like that as far as watching every game. However, I looked at the highlights and stuff like that. And when you watch the Super Bowl and when you watch what happened and you watch how shows how much I don't know the NFL. Why I'm blanking out Matthew Stafford and the wide receiver that won the MVP. His name escapes me right now. But when you see what happened at the end of the game, Odell Beckham was getting his man and doing all this stuff, and it was because they had so many decoys and all this stuff. But guess what happened on that last drive that they needed? When they were going down the field and was that last drive, guess what? It was Matthew Stafford and it was the wide receiver. I can't remember his name right now, but it was Matthew Stafford and the wide receiver. That was it, the quarterback and the receiver. And what were they doing? At the end of the day, they said, look, either we're going to win this game because of their chemistry or we're going to lose this game because of their chemistry. Cooper Kupp, thank you. Either we're going to win this game because of their chemistry or we're going to lose this game because of their chemistry. Either way, those are the two players that are going to get this game done. Odell is injured, right? We need to score. We need to get ourselves a touchdown. We need to make sure that we're winning. It's going to be those two. And they fell back on chemistry. They fell back on everyday grinding together. They fell back on, making sure that they knew the ins and outs. And here's something I didn't even talk about. If I'm going to throw this ball, let's say for some reason I'm going through my reads and these linebackers, they're going to stay in place all of a sudden. They're not going to let me throw to the tight end. Let's say I needed to throw it to this person making the hook. I decide I'm going to go to him. I've got to make a split decision because of me knowing. I know where everybody's going. I know both of them, or like third receiver and the first receiver are both going this way. I know the second receiver is coming to make a hook. I know the tight end is going up and coming in. I know where everybody's going to be placed, right? So I'm looking, and after I make a pre-snap read, what happens is you make what's called a post-snap read. That means a read after the snap, right? So you have to read everything before, then you got to pay attention after to see what everybody does, and try to use both things simultaneously to make a split decision. So if I'm going to make a pass to this person right here, who's making the hook, we have to have such chemistry that when they turn, that when I'm going to throw the ball before they turn. So let's say this person is supposed to go 7 yards or something and turn back. Let's say that's 7, 8 yards, whatever, turn back and catch. Let's just say that's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to go 7 yards and turn back in. You go 7 yards and turn back in. What's going to happen? And I play wide receiver, so this is what I expect when I'm wide receiver. I'm running, and then I run. I'm trying to make the person I'm going against believe that I'm trying to pass him. So I'm going to run like I'm going past him, and I got another receiver. We're both going there. So he can't tell if we're both going to keep going straight, if one's going to go inside, if one of us going to turn in, if we're just going to both, go do a go route. But he has no clue. He has no clue. Both of them have no clue. But I have one that's focused on me wearing man-to-man coverage. So he's my man. I'm his man. He got to try to find a way to beat me. I got to find a way to beat him. So I'm going to do what I can. Then I'm going to dig in, and then I'm going to come right back inside. And as I'm coming around for the ball, right, my hands are going to already be in position. Before I see the ball, my hands are up. You see that? Before I come around, my hands are already starting to go up. So as I'm starting to come around and look for the ball, I'm not looking for him to throw me the ball at that point, right? You hear what I'm saying? I'm not looking for him to what? To throw me the ball. When I come around, the ball should already be coming to my hand. That's the connection that we need to have, right? That's the chemistry. That's what we need to be forming in these times. It's like before the wide receiver is not looking. If I turn around and I see the quarterback hasn't thrown the ball, the play is already messed up. When I come around, I'm not looking for the ball to be thrown. I'm looking for the ball to meet my hands. You got to have great eyes as a wide receiver, but sometimes it's not even my responsibility to find the ball. The ball's supposed to find me. That's how accurate the quarterback has to be. So if I'm playing quarterback and I'm going back, the wide receiver, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, the tight end up, they look like there's 5 yards in, they look like it's not going to make it. I'm looking this way too, because the cornerback, the person playing defense, is looking at my eyes. So if I come back and I were to look at that option, that cornerback, and then I try to throw it, that cornerback is going to jump the play, get an interception, and run all the way down the field. So I'm supposed to do this right here. I'm supposed to look away, right, and look in a certain direction. So first of all, the tight end is really where I'm headed. So I'll probably look at the wide receiver and act like I'm looking for the wide receiver to go out the corner of my eye. I'm looking at the tight end, and I'm like, ooh, those linebackers are that right linebacker ain't moving. And then I look and I'm like, ooh, the middle linebacker doesn't look like he's moving. So so in that sense, and I'm looking at the beginning of the play, I've got to make a split decision because I'm looking at 4 yards. They run already. He's only running 7, so I only got 3 more yards for him to run before he's supposed to turn around. So at that point, I got to make a decision in a split second. Do I pump? I don't even have time to pump fake and bring it back down because then I'm late. So I got to say to myself, maybe I'm looking this way, right? Then I see the tight end, he's covered, but I'm going to go ahead and fake it in anyways. So I might do like this. I might go, and everybody goes, oh, he's looking that way, he's going to try to throw. As I'm looking that way, then I don't take my time. I then actually bounce and throw. And then by that time, as it's leaving my hand, he's the wide receiver's turning around, waiting for him to basically put his hands up and then hope that he has a big bare minimum adjustment to catch the ball and then be able to get a first down bare minimum. Right? Like that's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing all of that. I took pre-snap, post-snap, the huddle, the study, the play that's called, the coach relationship, the summer, all those things. All those things happen for that one play. You catch that? All those things happen for that one play. That one play required all of that, right? And every play that I go through from that point on is going to call on all those same things. Now it's a habit. Every time we come to the line, thinking the same thing. What's the situation? What yard line are we on? What down is it? How many yards do we have left? Do we think that we can go ahead and do those things? I'm looking at something the whole time, right? You can also have something that's called an option route. And then we got to get ready to take our leave because some of us have class. So repeat this. I'm going to make this as simple as I possibly can. Okay? You also might have something that's called an option route. I don't know if you can see it because it's very faint, but you have the dotted line up here that's saying go straight for this receiver. So let's say the tight end isn't able to make it, and he's caught up. He's over here. Let's say this person's over here. This defensive back, this triangle has decided to go up here. Let's say that this defensive back is now here. They were able to jump the play, so I can't make that pass. But this person who's running, at the same speed this person was, they've gotten to a place here. Both of us have to have talked about the situation plenty of times before. What's going on with this? Because this linebacker, maybe this linebacker tried to get with this wide receiver. This wide receiver going to burn the linebacker every time, right? So I know that they gotten past here in my mind. I'm already counting on that. So I got to count on them to make sure that they're in position and that they're going to do their job, that they're going to do what their responsibility. If you got a linebacker on you, I'm not even checking, because in my mind, you should be great enough that this linebacker is too slow to mess with you. That linebacker is better suited to be on a slower tight end or to try and rush me, right? Or to try and get their hands on this running back. So if this happens, I'm counting on you to do what you're supposed to do and get past them. The only thing that's up here at this point is I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking to see you're getting close. And I'm looking to see what this person is doing up here. This is the last line of defense we got to get through. Is this person trying to help out with the tight end? If they are, you might be all open. If this back wasn't paying attention enough, this person might decide to just keep on going straight, because the first two options, which are usually on the outside, not always, but usually these first two options that are on the outside, usually they're going to be options 1 and 2. So this third option on this play, let's just say it's not that clear cut, but let's just say it's the third option. The third option might not have made the team because they're the best overall wide receiver, but maybe this is the fastest one. So this defensive back, once this person got a full head of steam and going, this person might dust this person right here. And they might decide, if I see that they're going to dust them, if we've had a conversation in the offseason that says that, hey, if you're in this situation and you feel you can dust them, I'm going to throw the ball. I'm going to just turn this into a go route. Don't do a post. Just go. Go as fast as you can, and I'm gonna throw it up for you, and make sure the only person that's gonna be able to get to it is you. You're gonna have to run under it, so you're gonna have to run as fast as you can. But I promise you, if you can burn this person, I'm gonna put it up. But we have to make that decision together. That we have to have that conversation. We have to remember that. Might even tell the person that's we're in the huddle. I might remind them, hey, they're probably going to be in a 4-3. They're probably going to be man to man. They're probably going to let the strong safety and the free safety. They're probably going to be playing like a soft zone or something like that. So if you get to them, remember, you can burn them. I'm gonna say it to them before we even run the play. We're going to make sure we're on the same page, and then that way, if he gets here and he remembers, I remember, and I just told him, I reminded him again, hey, it's not on me at that point, because I'm going to do what I said we're going to do. So sometimes you guys have seen where somebody will throw an interception. You guys will be like, how in the world did he throw that interception? And you'll blame the quarterback. And the quarterback come off the field and he's snapping his helmet down and he's mad and he's yelling at the wide receiver. And everybody's like, look at that quarterback. He's so bad. He's selfish. He doesn't have any accountability. Now he's paid to not be angry in that point, because he's supposed to be the example, right? However, he's right because we already had it planned out where if this happens, this is what you're supposed to do. So if you're going full speed and I know you're going to dust them, I'm going to throw it in that direction. And if you go and do a post and I'm throwing it for you to keep going straight, if you do a post and you look this way and then you got to turn back and go, oh, wow, the wall's over there. Now you just hoping, I hope that other person didn't keep going and got an interception. Right? Now I should have thrown it far enough to where he wouldn't have been able to get to it anyways. But that was supposed to be a throw for you. Right? If that person seems like they're going to be staying there and they're paying attention and stuff, you're not going to pass them, then you were supposed to do a post. I'm saying all that to say this, like, we're going to have to be in tune. As we start getting this, get your quarterback skills up, get your pre-snap reads together, right? Get your pre, make sure that you're limber and you stretched out, you're ready to go. Make sure that you're going over film and things of the past. Study to show yourself approved. Like the time is now. The time is not that you're in season. You're going into the games. We're not just trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to win a championship, right? But it's a long grind. And there's 17, 17 games in the season. Was it 19 weeks, 18 weeks, 19 weeks? Did they get 2 bye weeks now? They still get 1. I think it's 2, right? So 19 weeks of preparation. Then there's a week. Then you go into what? 3 weeks of the playoffs before you go ahead and go into that last week of the Super Bowl. It's a grind, and there's a reason why. No matter what, you got to get your body ready. There's a reason why you rest, but then there's a reason why even before you get into the season, you guys start putting on helmets and pads, and you start hitting each other, and you start having drills where you're hitting, hitting the bags and hitting the. I'm having a thing for. I don't know why I'm having a mind moment right now, but like you're pushing things, you're pushing them to the side, you're coming through, you're doing all that, you're getting ready for contact because you have to get ready to be hit. If you're gonna play this game, you got to be ready to thank you sleds and things of that. Yeah, I don't know why that was an issue for me, but you got to get ready to get hit. You got to get ready for contact. You have to be prepared. You got to be prepared to run on grass like that. You got to be prepared to run with cleats on. You don't run with cleats on the way that you run with other things on. You got to be ready for all of those things. You got to know the playbook inside and out. Yeah, you got to know all those things. You got to be prepared for everything physically and emotionally. Like, I need you to comprehend that there are people who get hit so hard, right, that their arm goes numb. And they still have to be prepared to go out again the next play and still do what's necessary and hope that their arm stops going numb, by the time that they really need that arm to work. And they still got to figure out a way to do it with one hand. There's still ways sometimes people don't even have but one finger working, and you got to figure out how to make it work. Right? There's somebody in the NFL right now who plays and doesn't even have a hand. Do they still play? I think they're still on the roster somewhere. Don't even have a hand. Still, when you out there, though, that's not an excuse. Right? So I'm saying all that. Be ready, get your pregame, snap up, all those things, and be ready to be in position. That being said, I've gone extremely long. We need to get ready for the herbalism class tonight. Thank you all so much for being on. Reminder, 8 a.m. Eastern, New York time tomorrow. We'll be on live again. 10 a.m. Eastern, New York time. We'll make sure that we do our Shabbat Shalom service. Minister Anais will be leading us in that. 11 a.m. Eastern, New York time. We will make sure that we are 11 a.m. Eastern New York time, we will have our weekly meeting, or not weekly meeting, but we'll have our meeting. We'll have it this first Saturday, and then we'll have it the third Saturday, and we'll try to do something fun with that as well. Please go and check the stuff that's being updated and stuff like that on the websites. Do your research, be prepared. Your affirmations, Romans 8:1, Romans 8:11, Romans 8:19, Romans 8. I skipped something. Romans 8:1, Romans 8:11, Romans 8:18, Romans 8:19, Romans 8:28. All right. Thank you so much for being on. Please check out my wife, the Honorable Maya, on TikTok, YouTube, website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. Please feel free to help her out with clothing drives and things that we do to make sure people eat and make sure that people have clothes, and at changinglivesinitiative.org. Don't forget, October 14th through the 16th is coming up. We have somebody, by the way, who said if you're coming, I guess you could say kind of sort of East Coast, but especially if you're Midwest. I guess if you're East Coast, we just need to know so we can make sure that the person's available. Long story short, we got somebody with room for carpooling. So we got about, I think it was 6 seats I was told that's available. So if you need help with that, because some people are saying, well, it's a lot for me to do by myself and I got children, somebody's saying, hey, we got you. So I told you guys, even if you want a maybe, if you got a maybe in there, don't miss your blessing. October 14th to the 16th. We need to know donations by August 15th. And thank you so much. We look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thank you all again. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And as always, it's been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Until we have the great privilege, opportunity, responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember as always that you are loved. You're necessary, you're majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in the system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.